ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ Namaste, all of you. Welcome back to our continuing study of Shrimad Bhagawad Geetha from the pages of Poojya Swamiji's, Poojya Swami Dayananda Saraswati's Gita home study course. In these sessions, we are together exploring chapter 16 of Shrimad Bhagawad Geetha, titled Daivasura Sampat Vibhaga Yogaha. A chapter in which we are studying those traits that are becoming of a human being, a human personality, and those that are unbecoming of a human personality, human being. I was talking about the 5 methods that Swami Paramarthananda, our dear Guru, recommends that we use to cultivate Daivi Sampat intelligently. At the same time, eschew Asuri Sampat diligently. I had mentioned the 5 ways that Swamiji recommends that we do, that we practice. The cultivation and the eschewing of Daivi Sampats and Asuri Sampats, respectively. We were looking at the first method in the last capsule, namely Viveka, in which we saw that the approach is to understand clearly what is gained as a result of nurturing, first of all, adopting, then nurturing, and then growing in conviction about the gain that accrues to us while following Daivi Sampats, and also what we stand to lose if we do not follow Daivi Sampats, if we incline to the Asuri Sampats. What is to be gained and what is lost is achieved using our God given Viveka Shakti. So, Viveka is the first method that Swamiji recommends. The second method, once Viveka is in place and once we understand the essence of both Asuri Sampat and Daivi Sampats, then a certain high degree of alertness is called for on our part. Especially when dealing with Asuri Sampats that could rear their heads every now and then. What we must keep in mind here is I was talking about Arani Mathanam. It is a process of churning. Viveka involves a lot of churning of the intellect, a lot of intellectual activity. If we were to compare this churning process to the Samudra Mathanam churning that the Devas and the Asuras were involved in, then we will remember the different items that the process of Samudra Mathanam resulted in. A lot of good things came out of this Samudra Mathanam. Ma Lakshmi Devi was born, Kamadhenu came forth, the Kalpataru came forth, Amritam came forth as a result of this churning. But what also came out was the Hala Hala poison. Poison also came out. So, if we were to look at the good things that came out as a result of the Samudra Mathanam to the Daivi Sampats that surface as a result of applying our Viveka Shakti Vyaparaha, then the poison that came out of the Samudra Mathanam can be compared with the Asuri Sampats. So, both of them will show up, and we need to be on high alert, especially when the Asuri Sampats rear their ugly heads. So, the second method of promoting Daivi Sampat and eschewing Asuri Sampats is Pratipaksha Bhavana. Pratipaksha Bhavana. An example will help us understand this method clearly. In the Mahabharata war, in the pitched battle between Arjuna and Karna, arch rivals that they were, although they were brothers, imagine Karna shooting the Agni Astram at Arjuna. And we all know that Agni can be doused completely by using water. And so Arjuna would shoot, would counter attack using the Varuna Astram. So Pratipaksha Bhavana is illustrated there. Pratipaksha means the opposite, the exact opposite of what is fired at you. So, if someone speaks to you in a fiery tone, instead of returning it with fire, it would be advisable. It is advisable to return it with something that will cool down fire. Nice words, pleasant demeanor, etc. Because exchanging fire for fire is only going to increase the intensity. It may lead to a conflagration which can have a telling effect on not only the two people who are involved but also the surroundings. So Pratipaksha Bhavana, we need to find the respective Pratipaksha to neutralize not external influences necessarily, but internal, more internal than external. So that's the second. As a result of our Viveka Shakti, we get to understand what we lose if we lose our temper, if there are provoking instances in our lives, then we should know the method of handling such situations using the appropriate counter. So that is Pratipaksha Bhavana, to ensure that we do not lose our equanimity. Then, as we grow in conviction, about the progress that we can make as a result of the practice of Daivi Sampats, the third method Swamiji suggests is auto-suggestion or sankalpa. Sankalpa. Making a strong resolve, taking a strong resolve that I will commit myself to carefully promote Daivi Sampats in my day-to-day life, come what may. Come what may. I will resolve. I will positively resolve that I will stick on to my understanding, which I gain through my Viveka Shakti Vyaparaha, Sankalpa. And believe me, in course of time, this sankalpa can send out strong positive ripples around where you live. It will make an impact on the environment. The stronger your sankalpa is, the more far reaching are its effects. Good sankalpa results in, in harmony in the mind, first of all, then in the family, then in the immediate society, then in the environment that you live in. So, the first three methods, that is Viveka, Pratipaksha Bhavana, and Sankalpa, require us to exert our free will. Free will, our Purushartha. Krishna says in chapter 6, Uddhared Atmanatmanam. Lift yourself by yourselves. So, Viveka, Pratipaksha Bhavana, and Sankalpa are heavily dependent on our exerting our free will. We must work at it, nurturing Daivi Sampats and eschewing Asuri Sampats. Then the fourth method is Satsanga. Satsanga. If for some reason we find that we aren't able to manage this task, this demanding task of being alert, being watchful, being careful. If it becomes too much of an effort for me, then what I could do is seek out company of Satviki people. People who are given to the practice of values, who are leading value based lives, value driven lives. Seek them out. And once we start gravitating in such company, then through the process of osmosis, as it were, it is quite likely that we will imbibe their tendencies, their good tendencies, their good habits, their good attitudes. Satsangatve nissangatvam. By nurturing sattva guna, our thinking becomes clearer and clearer, which will automatically result in the quality of vairagyam surfacing. So, if we think we aren't able to do it all by ourselves, then a nice way of promoting Daivi Sampat is to seek out good company. Birds of the same feather flock together. And if all this is not possible, if you aren't able to find, if you aren't successful in finding people who are sattvic, then Swamiji recommends that we earnestly and sincerely pray to the Lord to assist us in the process of practicing the nurturing of Daivi Sampats, and eschewing Asuri Sampats. So these are the 5 valuable ways that Swami Paramarthananda recommends. He suggests that we use these methods to cultivate Daivi Sampats and eschew Asuri Sampats. We will pick up the thread of the shlokas in this chapter and take our study forward in the upcoming capsules. Hari Om.